Welcome back, everybody, to the Salt Lake City franchise. We are 60-64 here in season number 4, and we are having our best season to date so far. We are kind of on the trajectory of competing for a wild card spot. And at the trade deadline, we decided to do just that. Not necessarily just trading off all of our veterans. We decided to keep some around, including Brandon Woodruff, who's having a really good season. But we are actually doing a lot better than a lot of teams who have dominated in the NL as of recently, kind of like the Phillies. We did acquire Kevin Huber via trade. He is a relief arm at 20 years old who will be a big staple of this bullpen in the future. And I really wanted to go after a younger bullpen guy because we did acquire Mariano Castro back in season 1. And I haven't really drafted well as far as relief pitchers go. And I wanted to get a young guy to develop there and to be a guy that can contribute in the now and the future. We also acquired Bryce Matthews, who's already actually gone up 1 overall since we acquired him. Now, his attributes and stats right now aren't really aligning. He's only hitting under 200 so far with the Swarm this year, but he is cost control. He's a depth guy eventually, and who knows, he could surprise some guys on this squad. You know, I thought that Cam Smith would be ready for the majors at this point when we acquired him in the offseason, but he is just not ready. He's only hitting 200 after being moved down from AAA to AA. So I don't know what's going on with his development. But I think a couple episodes ago, I did pick up Jeffrey Watson as a potential option to move up as a September call-up. And he has been really, really impressive. 435, OPS over 1,100. And I wanted to just focus on him for a quick game. And he is just impressive, you know, all around. He's got good vision, good contact. He's seeing the ball well right now, and he is a young guy who I hope can outperform his potential and then get a natural potential raise like the game sometimes does. Another potential call-up at the September call-ups is going to be Bob Engel. He was our first-round draft pick last year, and I haven't had the need to really move him up because I've wanted him to just develop his skills a little more, mostly his bat, because he's just not going to be a good fielder. But I do want him to, come up with some more consistency. So if we do move him up, it would be on like a hot streak or something like that. One other guy that I do want to keep an eye on who's been at the majors this entire series is Ben Rice. You know, the thing with Ben Rice is that his average is super, super low. Last year, he had an unreal season at 27 home runs, and that was a career high for him. But then he regressed back to the old Ben Rice where he couldn't get on base at all. But I am looking forward to seeing if he can bounce back with his career, because I think that right now I see him as probably a guy that's going to be at the AAA level for us unless he can hit for high average. So we are now in the middle of the month of August, and we have a couple of division foes in this next week of games. 4 versus the Padres and 3 versus the Diamondbacks. Now, we faced the Padres here in the top of the 10th inning with 2 outs, and I want to just highlight the Padres altogether because they're just an interesting team. They drafted Manuel Collado back in season 1. He was really good, and he actually did win Rookie of the Year in season number 2. But he's at AAA right now, and he's benched for Jose Miranda, which is just very, very interesting. I did not see that coming. And then they signed Jazz Chisholm to a $40 million a year deal in the offseason, and he's regressing already. And then there's Manny Machado, who is regressing big time. And he's probably going to be in the low 60s overall by next year, and he's going to keep declining. He's under contract for the next 6 years for the Padres. So here we are in the top of the 10th inning. Here is Chris Bryant, who we picked up off of waivers, not to be a starter, but to fill in certain situations. And here he swings and misses at an outside slider. And we're going to the top of the 11th inning. Now with 1 out, this is Justin Thompson Jr., who is at the plate here. He gets to pitch low, but the runner will be on the move from first base. That is Luis Lara. So now that breaks up the double play ball. The infield will be in here for the defense. And now a 1-1 pitch over the middle will be hit well to center field. Coming in is Jackson Merrill. He will make the catch. throw all the way home, and it will not be in time. And Chris Bryant will score on the sacrifice fly right there, and we do have the 1-run lead. Here is Elvis Esparza, who's moved from short to third after we acquired Bryce Matthews at the deadline, and he will walk. As that brings up Sal Frelick, hitting pretty well so far in his short career with Salt Lake. This is a throw down to third base and a late jump that time by Lara, and he will be in safe at third. But now runners in scoring position here. 2-2 pitch, 2 outs. Big opportunity here to add some more insurance, but an inside fastball at 100 mile an hour. And Sal Frelick is just late on that one. And it will be a fly out to the pitcher. So here is Jackson Merrill at the plate now with a runner on second base here in extras. Facing Mariano Castro. Let's see if we can get the save here. And he gets Merrill to swing and miss at an outside curveball for a swinging strike 3. Now that brings up Jose Miranda to the plate now, and he hits a chopper up the middle. That gets through, and this will be a throw home from Sal Frelick, and it's right on target. It gets Fernando Tatis at the plate. What a throw by Sal Frelick, saving this game in extras, and it was a perfect throw. And I wanted to take a look. Why did Tatis kind of slow down at third? It looks like the third base coach told him to hold up, and then at the last second told him to go. So that really slowed down Tatis, and the throw was perfect, and it nailed him at the plate. That brings up Jake Cronenworth, and he hits up the middle. That one will get through. So this game is not over, but this is a crucial one here for Salt Lake City. We got to close this one out. Spencer Steer at the plate, hitting .249 on the year. 0 for 4 today, make it 0 for 5. A fastball up in the zone, probably caught too much of the plate, but we end up getting the victory here. 4-3 on the road. Very, very dramatic ending, I would say, at the end of that game. So in this series, we do end up, getting that first win of the series that then ended up sneaking 2 more wins in this series. Brandon Woodruff gets the win on that one in a 4-2 victory. We did lose 1-8 in Game 2, but in Game 4, a 17-hit win. Sal Frelick, 5 hits. Elvis Esparza, 3 hits. They definitely propelled the rest of the runs in this game because it looks like everybody that was hitting 6 through 9 scored at least 2 runs. So now here we are, 63-65, hovering around 500, and we are in the playoff chase as we are only 2 games behind the Diamondbacks, who are sitting here atop of the wild cards chase for that last spot. And let's just talk about the Diamondbacks. The Diamondbacks are our rivals in this series, and we just haven't been good enough to really even highlight it until this year. They have the top prospect in all of baseball in real life in Jordan Lawler, but they've moved him up, and he has not been impressive at all. Matter of fact, he's not even starting at short. Blaze Alexander is starting ahead of him. They then traded for Yainer Diaz at the trade deadline where they gave up Corbin Carroll, and this was just an interesting move. They were going all in this year because Diaz will be a free agent, so they will pretty much lose him at the end of this year if they don't re-sign him to a new contract. They also have other free agents. Jake McCarthy will be a free agent for them, and so will Ketel Marte. I mean, this is an all-in season for them. But to add to that, Corbin Burns is hurt, and so is Brandon Pfaadt. If you look at the injuries here, torn groin, 1 to 2 months for Burns, and then for Pfaadt, 2 to 3 weeks with a herniated disc. So these guys are not expected to be here for the next 6 weeks or so, and they're hoping that the rest of these guys in the rotation can hold it down and at least get them to the playoffs. But it looks like this team will be built around third baseman Geno Wise, who was drafted in the first round back in Season 2. He was moved up this year and is actually off to a decent start. So we'll see what he's got in this series. So here are the standings, and this could probably potentially be the biggest series, 3-game series of this season, and maybe of the entire series to this point. We will put Elijah Vaughn on the mound. He was scheduled to pitch and we will just leave him in there as he faces this tough Arizona lineup. Here is Jake McCarthy with the ground ball at the middle. Bryce Matthews with the throw across his body, and they are going to call safe at first. Now, it looked like to me that was a clear out, at least by a half a step, and it looks like that will get in Fritz De La Cruz's glove before McCarthy steps on the bag, and they will overturn that call at first. Elijah Vaughn now facing Geno Wise as he goes to opposite field for the first hit of the ball game here for Arizona. And now they have a runner on first base here with one out. One of the most dangerous hitters here to face in MLB The Show, Ketel Marte, and he hits one hard over the second baseman's glove, Brandon Rogers, and it gets to the wall as Luis Lara, playing in right field, throws to the cutoff man, and Matthews, a throw to the plate, will not be in time as Arizona takes the 1-0 lead off of the 24th double by Ketel Marte. Here's Josh Naylor, inside pitch, and somehow gets enough barrel on it to hit it to opposite field right down the third base line. It's fair, and it's a 2-0 ball game. Wow, what a piece of hitting right there from Naylor. And he just shortened up his swing a little bit. That brings up Junior Caminero, and he hits one up the middle. That one gets down also. So not a great outing here in the first inning here for Elijah Vaughn, as we're already down 2-0. Still one out in this inning, by the way. Here is Blaze Alexander, and that's a low pitch. I have no idea how that got past Oliver Gonzalez, though. It gets all the way to the backstop, and the runners do advance. Now a 2-2 pitch. Another pitch gets by Gonzalez, but it does hold up the runners as they don't have great speed at third. Lucky for us. Now we continue this at bat here, and Alexander will walk, and that loads up the bases in the first inning for Gabriel Moreno, hitting .242 at the plate this year. Ground ball to third, and it's a double play. We get out of that jam. And, man, I don't know what's up with this pitching here, as we need to get off to better starts. Luis Lara hits one down to left field, I should say. That one gets all the way to the wall. Jake McCarthy has amazing speed. How did he get to that ball so fast? And it's just a double right there. And Lara starts us out with a nice hit. That brings up Brendan Rodgers here with 2 outs, and he hits one up the middle. That one will score Lara from second base. And we are on the board. We cut this lead in half, 2-1. So let's see what this pitching staff can do, because this is a very tough lineup. If Elijah Vaughn can stop giving up base hits, maybe our offense can come alive in this one and come back. But it looks like Elijah Vaughn's not done giving up hits, as he gives a leadoff single that time. And then the next batter, Jorge Barosa, hits one down the left field line. That is fair. Madlock plays it off of the warning track. The throw home will not be in time. I just realized this ballpark is huge, by the way. The gaps are large, and Barosa takes advantage right there. And it is a 3-1 ball game. We decide to keep Elijah Vaughn in for a lefty-on-lefty matchup, but McCarthy comes through with the missile down the right field line, and it's 4-1. And at that point, we do have to pull Elijah Vaughn. Just way too many solid hits given up, and they are just tattooing him at this point. Hopefully he doesn't lose confidence. That's one thing that we need in the offseason, though, a left-handed starting pitcher. We don't really have many that are MLB talent worthy at this point, and that's why Elijah Vaughn is getting these starts, because, you know, a lot of these lineups are very heavy left-handed hitting. So Geno Wise comes to the plate now. He swings and misses at that one after a single in his first AB. And now Ryan Yarbrough, with runners on the corners, will get a ground ball to Esparza, playing at third today. And we do get out of that second inning. So here is Luis Lara to the plate. He's come back from injury, and now he's got to be our full-time starter at right field, as Jesus Sanchez is out for the season with a season-ending injury. And Lara is now 2 for 2. Brendan Rodgers comes up. He hits one hard right to Moreno at third. And that will be the second out of the inning, as Bryce Matthews, fly ball to right field. That one gets the Diamondbacks out of the 4th inning as well. We end up going to our bullpen and bringing in Hunter Dula. We haven't talked about him much, but he's been a guy that's been really surprising in this series so far. That's a nice pitch right there, getting a backwards K that brings up Junior Caminero to the plate, and he swings and misses at a low slider in the dirt. 2 outs here in the 5th inning. As that brings up the next batter, Blaze Alexander, who hits this one to the left center gap. That's why he's hitting in front of Jordan Lawler on the depth chart. And that is a double here with 2 outs. As Blaze Alexander is actually 75 overall. And then you see Jordan Lawler was 79 overall. Gabriel Moreno comes up and he hits one to opposite field. And the Diamondbacks add another one in the 5th inning here. And man, I don't know what is up when we go on the road. We give up so many hits. Here is Brendan Rodgers, who comes to the plate now in the top of the 7th inning. That one gets all the way to the corner in left field. This time McCarthy is way too far in center to get to this one. And Brendan Rodgers will have himself a triple to start out here in the top of the 7th. I wish Rodgers was a little bit faster because that probably could have been an inside the park home run. Here is Bryce Matthews, and he hits one up the middle. And now we're back on the board here, cutting this lead down to just 3 with a 5-2 RBI single off of the bat of Bryce Matthews. That brings up Sal Frelick now with 1 out, and he hits one to the left center gap. That one will score Matthews all the way from first, and Sal Frelick just continues to swing a hot bat here with Salt Lake City. And do we have a little comeback on our hands? They go to the bullpen and bring in Camilo Duvall out of the pen. And he will face Oliver Gonzalez, who is the front runner for Rookie of the Year. He hits one hard up the middle. That one is going to be a single and an RBI single. But Gonzalez tries to stretch it into a double, and he cannot. That brings up Terrence Madlock now with 2 outs. He gets up off-speed pitch over the middle and hits this one well down the left field line. That one knocks off of the wall, and it's a double. That one probably wouldn't have scored Gonzalez from first just because he doesn't have the greatest speed in the world. But now here with 2 outs, Fritz De La Cruz cannot keep the hitting going in this inning. But we trim this lead all the way back down to just 1 here late. And now we'll see if our bullpen can hold up here versus this tough lineup. That brings up Blaze Alexander facing Domingo Orozco out of the pen. And he just tattoos one deep. And that's a no-doubt home run off of the batter's eye. And Blaze Alexander is having himself an evening today. I've talked about him a little bit, but he has been our worst nightmare in game number 1. Now Gabriel Moreno comes to the plate, and he hits one hard off of the pitch of Trent Thornton. As we move on to the top of the 9th inning, now it's a 4-7 game. Here is Gonzalez, who continues to hit the ball well. And that averages up to like 325 at this point. Like, he is hitting ridiculously at this point of his season. And then Madlock will check his swing, and he goes around, and that one will be a 7-4 loss here for your Swarm here in game number 1. We had 12 hits in this game, by the way, and the Diamondbacks still get the victory. So on to game number 2, as we do have Johnny Hood scheduled to pitch versus Ryan Rawlison. But we do decide to make a slight change here. We decide to pitch Kevin Hopp. Hopp is the better pitcher at this point here of this season, and he's got 16 quality starts, 118 whip. His numbers are phenomenal. Also, he can go late in games. He has already 1 complete game this year, so we'll see what he can do, but already he gives up 2 runs in the first inning. I mean, I did not see that coming at all. We make the pitching change, and then Ketel Marte hits a 2-run home run in the 3rd inning, and then Caminero hits a 2-run home run. It's a 6-0 game. We have 1 hit up to that point. We just got another one in the 5th inning, but we only have 2 hits, and we're still going here. Now the 7th inning, on to the 8th inning, still 2 hits. We end up going to our bullpen, bringing in Casto to get us to the 9th, and then we face Amir Garrett, and we get one more hit on the game, and that's a 6-0 loss. I mean, couldn't even imagine that would happen in game number 2. After what we just saw in game 1, we had 12 hits, and then we followed that up with a 3-hit game. So now here we are in game number 3 here. Esteban Calzado scheduled to pitch. I'm not going to pull him from a start, but 63-67, currently on a 2-game losing streak, and now the Diamondbacks go for a sweep. Eduardo Rodriguez is going to be on the mound here for the Diamondbacks here in the 3rd game of this 3-game set. And we have Luis Lara leading off this ball game for a lefty matchup. As he moves up in the lineup, hits this one well to center field, and that one will drop in front of McCarthy. And how about Lara? Lara's just so fun to play with. Obviously, his numbers aren't like astronomically good, but he's been pretty good being a everyday outfielder. Here is Oliver Gonzalez, though. He hits one to right center. That gets down, and Gonzalez in his hitting, it's just incredible like what he's doing as a rookie this year. He is the clear rookie of the year, and if it wasn't for him being moved up later, he could potentially be going for a batting title. Matlock comes to the plate now, hits a missile up the middle, and look at this, the throw home will not be in time. A close play at the plate because that ball was hit so hard, and Matlock comes through with a sacrifice fly. So Brendan Rodgers to the plate now. He hits more towards the top of the lineup versus left-handers. That's what he specializes in. As that brings in Ryan O'Hearn to the dish now, hitting for Fritz De La Cruz, giving him a day off. And that will load up the bases for Bryce Matthews. A 400 average here with runners in scoring position. He's only got like 70 at-bats, but still, that's pretty good. As he gets one low, a ground ball, and that's a nice play by Moreno at 3rd, and a double play. You've got to be kidding me. We do everything right in that inning. We take walks, hitting the ball solidly. We had a perfect line out to center field that ended up being a sacrifice fly. And that's just how baseball goes sometimes. So here is Jake McCarthy to the plate now to lead off the game for the Diamondbacks. And he just continues his hot hitting from this Diamondbacks team. We just cannot keep them off base. Gino Wise, the future of this organization, up to the plate, and he will watch that outside slider, and McCarthy with 97 speed will get into second base. Here is Wise now, chopper to short. Esparza playing at short today. He gets the out at first base. As that brings up Ketel Marte, and he hits one hard to Ryan O'Hearn playing at first today for the second out of the inning, as that brings up Josh Naylor. Hitting 281, this one a chopper to first, and we do get out of this first inning. And this is the first inning we have led in the entire series in this 3-game set. So here we go, and we end up simming to the 4th inning, and look what happens. We end up giving up 4 runs. I don't know how that even happened. I meant to actually stop it because I meant to hit circle instead. I meant to hit square, instead I hit circle, actually. So I just decided to keep simming this on just to see if we end up scoring runs, and we don't. So we hop in here in the top of the 7th inning with Terrence Madlock, hoping to get some offense going. And here's a hanger over the middle, and it's just hit up the middle to off of the leg of the pitcher and out at first base. I mean, you really can't make this up. We are hitting the ball hard, and the timely hitting isn't there. And here's another hard ground ball, and I don't know how Josh Naylor had that type of jump on that ground ball, but he ends up, look where he's at right there, in the middle between first and second. Like, he had to move that much, and he still got to it. And then Ryan O'Hearn comes up, hard hit ball to short, and it's an out. I mean, when it rains, it pours. Matlock up in the top of the 9th inning with 2 outs, and it's a ground ball to second. The 3-game sweep is completed by our rivals in the Diamondbacks, and it looks like they are just determined to make the playoffs. We still have a month and a half to go, but that offense is just on fire at this point. They have 3 games where they had at least 8 hits, and they scored at least 6 runs. I mean, they are just on a tear at this point. and we end up getting swept. But Oliver Gonzalez goes 3 for 4 in this one, by the way. There's no cooling off Oliver Gonzalez through all of this, but another loss here. And now we have a bunch of series coming up that are very crucial. Pittsburgh is right above us in that NL wildcard chase. The Dodgers are obviously leading the division. The Cubs are obviously leading their division. They're actually not leading their division. They are, I believe, in second, but in that one of those wildcard spots. And right now, Oliver Gonzalez is not eligible for the batting title. Otherwise, he would have it at this point, but doesn't have enough at-bats this season. But, I mean, it just all comes down to what are we going to do in this final month and a half. I mean, we started this episode out great, beating the Padres, but then we end up getting swept. So is this the kind of inconsistent team we are going to see down the stretch? I just don't know, but we'll see what we have in the tank next episode. We'll make the final episode of season number 4, a run at the playoffs. So can we do it? Hit subscribe, hit that like button, stay tuned. Let's get it. Let's go.